Hey folks, this is Shane from Performance EV. Today we're going to try and get the power brakes back up and running on this car. Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us. So for those of you new to this channel, this is my project to put a Nissan Leaf motor into a Porsche 911. And over the past couple of weeks I've been trying to basically replace the systems that we've lost out on because we've taken out the Porsche engine. So in the last video we got the power steering back up and running by installing a 12 volt power steering pump into the system, and today we're basically going to try and do the same thing but for the brakes. So we're going to try and get the vacuum system that basically powers the brake booster and therefore should give me much better control over the braking of this car. We're going to try and get that back up and running. So I'll try and go through it step by step like I did in the last one, looking at the components, looking at how we fit it, and what we're going to do. So hopefully we'll get this done in one video and it won't cross over until next week. Anyway, let's get to it. Before we go into actually doing anything on this video, I just wanted to say a couple of quick things about where things are in the world and what that means for this channel. In the week between me recording that intro and now, when I'm just about to go and edit the video so I can release it, things have just gotten progressively crazier here and all over the world. There are more countries in lockdown, everyone's being asked to kind of stay at home, and yeah, I guess from my perspective it does put into sharp relief what is just an enjoyable side project for me at the moment. But that being said, I'm going to keep going with this channel and with this project as much as I can with while things are still going crazy and we as a world try and get past this this crisis. And I'll keep on doing as much on the car as I can, as long as I can get the parts or the tools that I need, and if I can't, I'll get creative. The way I figure it, I don't have much, unfortunately, that I can offer to the effort in fighting COVID, other than adhering to the advice of keeping my distance from people, washing my hands and doing that, and keeping an eye out for my elderly neighbours. So the only thing I can really do is that really touches anyone else is to keep doing these videos and hopefully provide a bit of entertainment and a bit of relief to people who are maybe stuck at home or can't get out because of the steps that our governments are having to take to keep as many people safe from this as possible. So that said, I'm just I'm going to keep on trying to get these videos out. I'll try and if I have the opportunity, if I end up with more free time, I'll try and get maybe more out than my usual one a week, and yeah, just hopefully you guys, if those of you who are stuck at home or not able to get out and enjoy things as much as you might like, hopefully you'll continue to enjoy these and continue to watch. But yeah, let's get to it. So for the power brakes, we actually want the opposite of the, I guess, hydraulic pressure that we had in the last video, and what we want is atmospheric vacuum, so a lack of air pressure. So basically we want to hold a vacuum in the brake booster here, which then allows it to amplify the pressure that you're putting on the pedal before it goes into the master cylinder. So we've got a little Audi vacuum pump here. These are pretty easy to get a hold of. There are probably more of them out there than there are the 12 volt power steering pumps, mainly because diesel cars don't create manifold vacuum, and therefore they don't have a mechanical way of providing vacuum for the brake booster. So pretty much all diesel cars will have some form of electric vacuum pump for the this application. So it's a very, very basic one. It's just literally two pins, positive and negative, and that switches it on. So what we're going to do is, I'm planning to place it right here beside the brake booster just to limit the length of cabling and therefore the possibility when things might go wrong. I've already bashed this mounting plate about a bit just to make it fit in the space a little bit better. I'm not going to mount it just yet. I want to get everything in there, but we'll essentially end up with something like this. So this will allow the vacuum pump to live in the same space as the brake booster. There's kind of dead space here anyway, so we'll make use of it. So where we want the vacuum to go into is just here, but we're not going to run it straight from the pump to this hole here because we want to put some other components in line to make the system more efficient. So the vacuum pump just has the one output here, which is basically where it draws the air in and just pumps it out the other side somewhere. And we want that going to the hole in the brake booster. I don't want to go there directly because if I do that, yes, we will get vacuum, but we'll be running this pump the entire time I'm driving, which isn't necessarily good for it. So I want to add a couple of components into the mix to allow us to run this system more efficiently. So the first key one is a vacuum reservoir. So this is essentially a place to not hold air. It allows us to have the vacuum spread over, I guess, more of an area, so the brake booster doesn't use it up as quickly, which is great. So we'll be drawing vacuum from here and from the brake booster, so there's a reasonable volume in which we've got vacuum, and therefore it'll work better. But there's still nothing to tell this machine that it needs to switch off. So for that we've got this, and this is basically a vacuum pressure sensor, and the idea is that it's preset to a specific level of vacuum, and once that's reached, it will it will send a signal to this basically to switch it off. So this is an aftermarket unit. I think the brand is Dracaris. It seems to be one that's quite popular to use for kind of conversions like this to electric brake boosters. So it'll should do the job. I think some people have had a few issues with trying to get the vacuum level set properly, so we'll see how it works. But it'll go in line between the vacuum pump and the vacuum storage, I guess. And then the final part we need is a check valve. So this basically is just a one-way valve. It allows the system to draw vacuum, but once the motor shuts off, air isn't going to rush back in. I don't think there's a built-in check valve in this motor. If there is, we've got double redundancy, but it will allow us to basically, once the motor switches off, keep the vacuum where it's supposed to be in the reservoir and in the brake booster. Now the Porsche unit, because it was running from the engine and was constantly providing vacuum, it didn't really need the reservoir, so the check valve was actually built into the this piece here that goes into the brake booster. So we're going to be effectively deleting this line and putting our own one in. So the plan is to have the vacuum pump here. It'll be drawing vacuum. I will have line attached to it. What we'll do then is go through the firewall here into the space behind, and there we'll have our reservoir and our on-off switch, and then the check valve will just fit somewhere in line with that at the moment. So for our first test run, I'm not going to do it like this. I'm just going to have it in the engine, in the front boot area here, so that we're we're not drilling if there are things that I need to change about the system. So the last sets of components we need are some hose adapters, some nice wide diameter vacuum hose, and some jubilee. So I'm going to work backwards from the booster. So we've got an elbow here, 90 degree. Going to get that into the booster a bit and then attach some hose to it. So we've got our first piece cut. This will go from the brake booster outwards. What we're going to install then is a T-piece. So one part will continue on to the pump and the other part will go to the vacuum reservoir. Alright, so that's that one cut. Then I'm going to just cut two short pieces to act as kind of interjoiners with the switch and the check valve. I don't know exactly where they're going to go, but if I've got short pieces then I can kind of mix and match them in between. And then we're going to save this last piece at its full length, so I've got some contingency. Alright, so now let's assemble this. Want to make sure these are nice and tight so there's no leaks and vacuum can't escape through any other means than me pushing the pedal. So we've got nearly everything plumbed in. We've got our brake booster end, T-piece junctioning off to what will go into the reservoir, and then the other side going to the switch, check valve, and ultimately the pump. So the vacuum reservoir originally had a much smaller diameter hose going into it, but the actual hole itself, without any rubber gasketing around it, is big enough for the diameter of the system that I'm building. So what I'm going to use is some silicon instant gasket to basically hold this nozzle or this straight piece in place. So I'm going to disconnect it from the network and get it in here, get it set, and then we'll connect it all back up. So while we're waiting for the sealant to set on the reservoir, we're going to try and run the system in the car in a shortened version. So we've got the pipe running from the booster through the switch, the check valve, and the pump. So that'll allow us to draw vacuum from the booster and just test the system's working, the pump's doing what it's supposed to. We're going to run that from one of these little batteries. Okay, so I wanted to have just a quick look at the system out of the car now that we've managed to successfully run it in there. So here we've got all the components laid out, ready to be finished off and put back in. So what we've got here is the pump itself. So this is the 12 volt vacuum pump from an Audi. And that then progresses along to the check valve. So this is a one-way valve, allows vacuum to be drawn out, but once the motor switch is off, air isn't going to go rushing back in. Then we've got our control switch. So basically this will be grounded, and there's going to be a single ground wire coming out of this, and it will be attached to a relay through these wires, which will then be attached to the power on this side, and that will decide whether or not the motor switch is on or not. And what this does is basically senses the level of vacuum, and once it goes past a certain threshold, it will tell the motor to switch off, and then after we've lost some vacuum through me using the brakes or just because it's bled out of the system, it'll flick the motor back on, and this will stop me having the motor running the whole time. Then we come out to this T-junction here, and this is where we're kind of sending one part of the system to the brake booster itself, and the other part we're putting in additional storage or reservoir for the vacuum. and that will hopefully allow us to run the motor less frequently. So it'll draw vacuum out of the whole system, including the brake booster, as well as out of here, and that should give us enough for a good few pumps of the brake pedal before we lose pressure. Okay, so here's our relay, 4 tails coming off it. So 2 wires for the coil, 2 wires for the contacts. So we've got 2 12 volt, 1 for the coil, 1 for the contacts, negative for the coil, and the 12 volt coming out of the contacts for when they're closed. So this will go to the battery, this will go to the pressure switch, and this will go to the positive terminal on the motor. Then we've got our battery here. We've also got negative going to the motor and going to the pressure switch. So we're going to bolt this onto the pressure switch. This will actually, in the car, be bolted to the chassis. So then we've got negative here, so this is our ground relay. Negative from it being attached to the pressure switch. Some place there. Output from the relay going to the positive on the motor, and then we're attaching 12 volt, and it should just switch straight on because there's no vacuum in the system, so the pressure switch will want the motor to run. Alright, so there might be a slight leak in the system. It's not turning off 100% perfectly, but it does turn off once it reaches a certain point. So what I'll do now is double check all the seals, make sure everything's tightened down properly. I have been opening and closing things on it, so it's entirely possible that one of them isn't, yeah, actually this one isn't down properly at all. And then we'll get it into the car. So that's the system tightened down. Let's get it in the car. So there we've got the system in place. Got our motor, check valve, switch, and then down in the depths of the trunk we've got the additional reservoir. Ultimately I'm going to drill through this panel and put the reservoir here. It'll be underneath the trim panel, so not too visible, but for testing it'll be in here. Alright, that's another job off the list. So now we've got the brakes working and the power steering. So hopefully once I get everything properly back together, put the wheels back on the car and that sort of thing, and just tackle cinching down the motor properly on its front mount, then I should be in a position to just try another little test run in and out of the garage and see if I can actually maneuver the car a little bit more. So I think that's a win. So yeah, thanks for joining us on this. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you do like this sort of thing and you want to see more of it, please do consider subscribing. And yeah, as always, comments and likes are always appreciated. But till next time, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you then.